Okay, we're live. So welcome everybody to the first Expa meetup of the year. Welcome to the GGN Game Center. Hands up who's here for the first time. One person. Okay, well, I always go through the general stuff. So, make yourself at home. There's coffee, there's snacks, toilets are in the lobby. If there's anything that you need, you can ask for me or anyone else wearing an Expa hoodie or look like they know what they are doing. Very excited to have you all here. We have a nice meetup coming up. Let me just check my notes because we have some updates. So as you know, these Expa meetups are always brought to you by our DG and Game Center partners, which are Young University of Applied Sciences, Business Development Services of Jyväskylä, Fingersoft, Destiny, Seltimil, Keski-Suomen konttoripiste, and our new partner, Suomen Pelikehittäjät ry/Finnish Game Developers Association. Remember to check out our website, expa.fi. There you will learn more about the community activities that we have to provide, and also dggamecenter.org. You can learn all about
spaces and the services that are provided in them. Join our Slack. It's a great online network where you can find, well, other professional, other enthusiastic game developers all over Finland. We have some 400 members there. Also recruiters looking for talent, and also all kinds of interesting projects going on, and a great channel for tooting your own horn if you're creating something interesting, so find your kin there. In addition to our regular program, which is professional talk and then Q&A, we also have the demo corner, and with a nice show up today, so at least 4 demos I'm spying at the moment, so make your way there after the official part is over. And of course we also have the open mic, so if you have anything to announce or something that you would like to display, just tap me on the shoulder and let's give you the stage after we're done. During our official part, which is the presentation and the Q&A, remember to ask questions. So if you think of questions during the presentation, you can write them down into the Twitch chat, whether you're on site or online. I will pick them up from there. Or if you want to participate the discussion yourself, we also have the catchbox mic on site, so you can also participate. And of course, remember to take pictures, and if you publish them, use the hashtag ExpaJKL and Digi and Game Center or DGCJKL. I think that's everything. So now on to our speaker. Tonight we have a very interesting talk coming up from one of the legendary Finnish game studios, Veikkaus, and with us we have the junior developer Miika Anundi. Without further ado, let's welcome Miika to the stage.
Thanks, Wanda. All right. Starting with real money gaming. Please be responsible when real money gaming, and if you're not having fun, then stop playing. And of course, for adults only. Okay, since I've driven from Kerava today and I missed my weekly PUBG games for this, I would really like to have a conversation, interaction with you, since if there's no interaction, then this could be a video, or I could have done this from home or so. So don't waste my time, thank you. So, before I go further on my agenda and me, quick gallup. How many of you are developing games or studying game development? All right. Then how many of you have used Unity? And how many of you have used Unreal? Okay, yeah, as you can see, hands are getting down. And how many of you have used Godot? Even less hands. And how many of you have used Pixie.js or 3.js? And we have 2. This was something I expected, and I'm glad that my presentation is exactly about that. All right, so my name is Miika Anundi, and I've been a game developer at Veikkaus Game Studio for a year now. I'm originally an elementary school teacher. Which button? It's not on. Yes. No, it's not working. So I'm originally elementary school teacher. You did it. Okay, then I'll point you. And I'm a self-learned programmer. I started at Veikkaus as project manager. Before that, I had a startup and burnout and usual stuff. But everything I've learned about programming is by YouTube, Google stuff, and creating some own project, game jams, meeting people, web development, stuff like that. So keep that in mind. Let's go to the next one. I think there should be some animations, but yeah, this is PDF, so no animations. Okay, repeating myself, so on the joyful side of real money gaming. Let's go forward. And shortly about Veikkaus. So as you all might know, maybe for someone it's new information, we do not have an owner. Like one private person in Malta or Romania or Norway. Norwegian, they have a lot of like real money gaming company. I don't know why, but they own a lot. But we are owned by government, and this is how our business profit is used. So most of the money goes to the Ministry of Culture and Education in Finland. Now that's what comes out when we make real business. Okay, please continue. And we are quite big. On our HQ we have IT people, we have 400 people there. And there's some statistics. Okay, let's go forward. And mostly what we do in our game studios are the traditional casino games. So slot machines, as you can, like from the past, from the history, there were these wheels spinning inside the machine and then slots coming, like you have apple, 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 and you win. That's the main game category we are building. Let's go forward. And shortly about the Fennica Gaming also, which is a daughter company of Veikkaus. Started a few years ago to sell the games abroad. So our games are played in Sweden, Denmark, France, Slovenia, and some states in US, and even growing nowadays. Yeah, please. All right, and we have quite small studio compared to all the IT people we have in Veikkaus. But in a game studio perspective, it's quite big. So usually we have a team with 2 programmers, 2 artists, and a producer in one team. We don't have an audio music creators internally, we buy those. And yeah, then there's of course some other management, like a head of game studio and so on. Yep, continue. And let's go to the main agenda going forward. The next one. So let's move to this side. So we create games for web technology only. So even if you go to the markets or anywhere playing with the real slot machines, these games are also like web builds. We create one build which is deployed on the mobile app. Actually, the mobile app doesn't include the games. Actually, it just opens them in inbuilt web browser with WebView. And the pipeline is really built easy and really really fast deploying games. And as you can like imagine, why don't we have an like game app with Excel builds? Just calculated something, it would be like a game sized mobile app if we include all the game assets there. Yeah, okay. How many of you have any understanding how real money games work? Okay, why?
I used to be a professional poker player for 20 years.
Okay, and so you've played like online poker games and maybe some live casino games and. All right. Oh, on Veikkaus too. Yeah, and for the rest of you, in a really like nutshell, simplified workflow. Some people could be really like naive that in the client there's really some random going on. Of course not. We cannot give the client any freedom of doing any random stuff. But it's in the back end. But there's some new information for you, I'm pretty sure you don't know, is that whenever we get a bet, we call it like, this is professional terms, like you press €1, it's a bet. We get like 100 cents to the back end. And what happens in our back end is that we will get the random seed from a machine that is actually in Finnish Peliosuuskunta server. So we do not do any randomization. You could actually say that we are not the company doing any real money gaming. It's Finnish police doing that stuff. We just present it. So each of the random seeds, when you play, they come from the Peliosuuskunta system. And we just create, by that random, we create something for the player. And of course, Peliosuuskunta will save all these randoms too, and they can check out what should have happened. All right, and this is one of, please. This is one of my first projects I joined in the image called Huutokauppa. Yeah.
So when there is a result, do you actually decide in the front end how it's displayed? Because there's probably many of the results.
Yes, great.
Decided on the back end.
Great question. Yeah, usually like when you're really into something, like you keep forgetting stuff, but actually it's here. So the game backend will tell the real game. This is only for the real games. So real games, each of these symbols are randomized in the backend. So we just show what the backend gives. It will give us actually some array of some things. Of course, there are numbers, not apple, but some numbers, and we just match them. All right, any more questions about this? Okay. And this is the part you might be the most interested in. And this is why I asked you about Unity and Unreal and stuff like that. I used to be like a Unity only developer. I didn't even touch like Unreal. Of course, I've tried it, but like not my piece of cake. And it would be Godot maybe if I would restart my journey. But when I started as a developer in Veikkaus game studio, I was like, why don't you create these games in Unity? It would be so much faster creating in like putting stuff together in there. But I have been like my mind have changed since we have so great pipeline from the beginning to the end, and it doesn't actually need to have an UI to build a game. So we have our own game engine developed in Veikkaus internally. So when I started, I was trying like, okay, what does this like Apila and FX, what does this mean, and how do I find out, and go Google, like, no, there's nothing in Google, there's nothing in YouTube, you cannot do that. There's no information. Actually, this is something like, really rarely Veikkaus published anything about the engine, and I also sent these slides for the lead developer of the engine team to verify that is this shared information okay. But you can't Google, but I just soon realized that I need to walk 20 meters to the next room and ask these guys, like, why does it work like this, and why don't we have a Z coordinate here, and why can't we use 3D and stuff like that? And the answer is there. That's like the really diamond side of things. Like engine creators are sitting on the same floor with us. So you cannot Google, but you need to like know people and maybe buy some pulla for them, like to get along well. But if you like to have like really close experience, go ahead and check out Pixie.js. That was actually something that when I applied for junior position, I had to like create a simple project with Pixie.js, and I used Pixie.js with TypeScript and also with Spine. Is anyone familiar with the Spine? Nope. Okay, it's also works with Unity. It's an animation software where artists can build like 2D. I think it was before Unity started introducing like these really cool bone systems internally. I think Spine was first before those. So we can create bones for the sprites and weight paint them, and like you can imagine anything, and also physics stuff. So artists usually build all the game parts, components quite ready there, and we just set them up in Apila, where we have a spine, a create spine method, which we use to create it. And what the first one in the middle on the last slide, which was kind of best thing that I used the Unity and C#, was that we use TypeScript, since if we would have used like pure JavaScript, I would have been lost. I didn't know that, like I didn't understand the difference because I've been so used to hard typing on C#. But when I tried some like personal project at home with pure JavaScript, you get lost. So like when the project grows, you start with okay, this is so simple like API call here and this thing there, and then you start growing and growing, and then soon you realize that, why is this undefined? What do I have here? Like it gets really, really messy. All right, and this is one of our games I really like, the graphic stuff and things like looking really mobile, game-ish. Okay, next one. So in a nutshell, Apila is just a library like Pixie.js. You just import a library in your Node project, and it's pretty much ready to run. You could create any games with that. It's not it's nothing to do with the real money gaming. It's a game engine. We have actually had internal jams, like using our own engine and creating some crazy games with that. And yeah, please go back. Thank you. Also, okay. This slide was about also about the image. This is something exclusive for you also. This Friday we will launch this first e-instant game created by our e-instant team. So as I mentioned, we create these real games, but we started this e-instant team, was it like maybe in November, and now we are launching our first own game, where you just open these tiles and then when you have 4 of a kind, same in there. It's just like revealing the wins there. But I'm part of that team because I like to create the game experience more, and when it comes to real games, as mentioned already, you just get the symbols there from the back end, and you cannot really do anything about this like presentation so much. But for e-instant, they work differently. So for e-instance, we get array of wins, only numbers like, okay, there's 0 win, there's 0 win, then there is €1 win. There might be like array of 6, the numbers, and we need to decide how to create the experience to show that the player gets the let's say €1 win there. And you can see here we have 4 symbols. And that includes like creating an algorithm that will keep the game interesting. We try to make it so that you don't just, the win doesn't just pop up. It'll make close situations here and there, and then we big part of the creation is also testing the prototype of the algorithm, how it really feels. Like we need to get it running really fast so that it doesn't feel like too much suspension. Like, okay, it's all the time, it's 3 and 3 and 3, and you never win anything, like you're really disappointed. Okay. And yeah, when I mentioned we have our own game engine, but actually it is used in Finland, maybe 5 companies or so. At least I haven't checked out the numbers, but there are many companies in Finland that are creating games for us. So we give them some assignment, create this kind of game, and we give them the engine code. Okay, use this engine, and then we give them some support if they need. And this is something that if you have a startup, you have a gaming company, please check out. Sometimes there are some procurements. We are a government company. We need to procure all the external work. So we are constantly looking for new partners to create games for us. So external team. And last year we got like 6 new partners around the world. So I think maybe in India is one company creating game for us nowadays. All right. Apart from the game engine itself, some few things that you can't live without anymore when you get something. Let's start from the heart here. If someone has been building some game, yeah, I know, like in Unity you need to wait quite long time sometimes to compile your game and see how it really works. Sometimes with the web development it's also the same case, that the game doesn't really load that fast. You need to refresh, And if it comes to real money gaming, sometimes the case is that you need to modify something in the end of the game, and you refresh the page, and there's no win, and you don't never get there. Like refresh. Hot reload is something that's built in our kit. It's something that I cannot live without anymore. We have some schemas, node systems that artists can also like modify the JSON schema to move around like symbols. Okay, this needs to move 1 pixel there, here and there. And this is all built by our own same team building the Apila system. They also build all of these. Yeah, particle system, there's something about that also in the end. Let's continue. Yeah, in addition to those those features and the Apila game engine, we also have the universal frame for all the games, as you might have seen in Veikkaus site or somewhere. The play buttons are usually similar in each games nowadays, and we don't need to worry about, for example, localization nowadays. When we are selling the game in Peru or something, we don't need to know any Peru language, since the frame handles all of that. And of course, the development server, we need to be able to run and cheat the game. As I mentioned, sometimes you play it. Of course, we have cheats. You just click there and like jackpot win, and then it's rolling the jackpot win, and we can check out whether it works. And of course, the asset pipeline, the optimization, you might have faced some issues that your game build is too big or it's lagging on some devices. We have our own asset pipeline. We don't need to worry that much about those assets we build in there, because it will crunch everything and move the audio files, compress them, and so on. So yeah, this is all kind of like proof what I already mentioned, that the pipeline is really well built, and it gives us, the game developers, time to really focus on what we are supposed to be doing. Yeah, this is quite like impressive list of stuff that we build there. We have the slot machines, the systems in the slot machines, they are Linux-based systems. Everything's the software built in there is by our own people built in there. So we also need to have, for example, slot machine simulator, because I cannot, or I can, but like building for the slot machine and deploying it for the test machine and waiting for it to run, it's really slow. So we have a simulator that we can run on the Linux machine and check out how it looks. Yeah. And then, as mentioned, like the game kits, the most used, a real game kit. So we have a template that's ready to play. It starts playing like right away. Out of the box, you can start playing it. And team, when they start real game building, they usually take this kit, and it's updated already. All the components are up to date, and they just start like changing the symbols and graphics and building stuff in there. And then we have this e-instant kit, actually under construction. I've been building it since this January. When we were building new e-instant, we realized that we don't have a really good kit. So I took everything from the real kit, transformed it to the e-instant, and now it's kind of working. And then for other games like these cascading games are this type that if you get like 5 same symbols, they will explode or disappear, and there will be more symbols coming up. So it has to be a little bit different system. And actually, this is interesting game type, since theoretically it can go on forever. If you think about like web casinos on international markets, I'm pretty sure that they have systems that they stop it, but in Veikkaus games we do not stop it. So we are a bit worried that someone will win so much from these kind of games that it will oversee. There is a Finnish police set limit for one win, and that can be a hard limit, but the game itself doesn't limit the win. Remember, on the joy side, do not try at home.
How much is the limit?
I should know. My guess is like 2,000, but I've never really checked it out from anywhere. Yeah, for the
The police backend just stop responding when you hit the limit, or do they cover the, or is that covered by you? The limit, checking that the limit doesn't go over.
I would be happy to say that when you're playing, you will get some information, but not 100% sure what would happen. It could be that the game would tell you that, okay, 10,000 euros, you won this much. But actually what is paid to you is 2,000 euros, and then the explanation that it was limited because of this rule. Might be that way, but I can check this out and maybe post somewhere some more recent information. But that, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just a continuation. What about the jackpots? Are they a different deal? Because
Yes.
I happen to
Yes.
play the Cascade games on your platform. So
Yeah. Jackpots are actually, there's a different server for like external jackpots. There's like some games have internal in-game jackpots. They are in-game mathematics, but there's also these like only jackpot, and those are in a different machine, and it doesn't depend if you are playing for 10 cents or €1 or anything. It just might happen. Yeah. Completely different. All right. Let's go forward then. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, something more about the simple e-instant. Just find the, like a casino arpa when you're playing with the scratch ticket. Continue, please. And this is like showing how you can vary games pretty fast, like reskinning stuff. It will give the game a new life, and it works for the clients. Usually they love it, like, okay, this is so cool. Okay, let's go forward. Yeah, I think this might be the last slide, so we are in time. So more like tech side of the Apila stuff. How does it work, and some recapping of things. Okay, let's see. Do we have any slides? Yeah, we have few. So we have some APIs working on there. Let's skip this one. Okay, yeah, this is actually something that if you would like to check it out, this is actually something that I sent as an application when I applied for this position. So this is something I wrote, really simple stuff with Pixie.js. But if you are interested in like web game development, then please check out Pixie.js and 3.js and learn those things. And this can be found from my GitHub. It's open repository there. Yeah, and some more information. Yeah, this is, I think, the last one should be. This is my GitHub page, and this is something you will see in my GitHub page. It doesn't really tell anything, but this is my private view compared. We use GitLab in work, so a lot of more commits, but it's not about the commits, the amount of commits. It's more for your variety of your skills and what you can present. So start your projects today if you hadn't started already. Use any engine and try them all. That's the main thing. And go to the game jams, all the meetings like this. You are here now. That's a really good step. Attend them all and share openly if you have a game project. Don't overthink that is this really a good code? Is this that something that will get me a job? Don't overthink. Just share it. Like I'm not proud of my like application code at all anymore. I've gone past that. And then commit to some public repos, fork some game builds and repos and so on. Okay, let's check if there's any slides hidden there. Oh yeah, this is about the particle editor, and it's another presentation maybe then. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miika. Am I getting audio through this one as well for the stream? Just making sure. Yeah, thank you. No need to be that loud. Yeah, so thanks so much for the interesting presentation. So much to cover. Basically, let's ask questions. Anything about Veikkaus as an employer, Miika's own background, and all the code stuff that was explained. Yeah. And by the way, we have the cash box, so let's roll that around, but in the front row, I can just pass the mic.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation, and it was great to hear about it. And is there often a scenario where you are like, oh, this would be really cool to create like this, and then somebody comes like, no, you cannot do it because law or reasons?
Well, yes and no. You get used to those limits quite fast, like quickly. But yeah, of course, it limits a lot. Like, it's mostly kind of like artists who are really like, why can't we do this? And yeah, sometimes producers and mathematicians, they would like to get the higher or lower return percentage for the game. It to work differently. Yeah, it happens, but we have so much knowledge. We've been in a special relationship, of course, with police sport, since there's no other companies in Finland, so we talk with them a lot. And usually when we start presenting a new game, okay, this is a game for the police board, there's nothing that they would say. In past years there have been cases that some games they've said that no, you cannot publish this. But nowadays we have so much knowledge that not gonna happen.
Yeah, thank you for the talk. You talked about how everything is like web, GI basically. Is security one of the reasons for it? Because I guess that everything at that point is server side and nothing is client side. Or because especially in the tile flipping game, if it's predetermined, then how do you make sure that they can't figure out where the good tiles actually are?
Oh yeah, you're talking about the e-instant. E-instant.
Okay.
Yeah, starting from the beginning of the questions, like WebGL, no, it doesn't really have nothing to do with that. It just gives us the single game build deployment that we can put everywhere, and it works. That's the main reason. But if you can find out the slide with the game, with the e-instant game with the green grass and the mines, gold mines, and yeah, that one. Yes, it was there.
Down there.
So yeah, so I'm creating these algorithms that the server side will tell me that this player didn't win, and we know that the client knows it. And actually, I can give you a trick. It's not a secret because it's on the client side. Everything on the client side, it's okay. So if you go to the network tab and you buy a ticket, you have a network tab open, you can find a purchase call. And you can check out from the answer from the back end that there's a ticket and there's prices, no price called array. And you can check out if you won or not. So the game client already knows. And everything what happens during your play is my algorithm making you feel that, okay,
So
what
yeah,
should
'cause
happen next?
I understood it in a way that there were multiple outcomes in your wins, and that depending on your choices, it would be in that range of winnings, basically.
No, we cannot give any power for the client.
Okay.
Like some players, what I've heard, never seen, I don't even know those people, but what I've heard, they play with API calls.
Okay, yeah, just to go faster.
Yes, just to go fast, and we cannot do anything like that with that. But I think what would happen if you play casino games, for example. In Finland, there's like rule that one spin is around 1 second, and it should not be faster. That we cannot do quick spins in Finland, like. So if you're starting to make API calls, I'm pretty sure that police board will see that in your data with your name, and because in Finland everything's with your name and your social security number, they will come to knock you in your door. What you're doing here? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because I know that there was this trend in iGaming for like skill games. Yeah, quote unquote skill games.
Yeah, maybe that's about the crash, like maybe about crash games. That could be like skill, so-called skill. There's a like your choice whenever you click the game, it does matter for the outcome. Okay. So the crash games, we don't have any crash games currently, but you can play them anywhere else. There's some money rising and rising and rising. If you bet with €1, it might be like 50 cents, 70 cents, and so on and so on. And if you press your button, you will get this money where it is, or it might crash on any point. Like, okay, everything's gone, and you lose it all. Okay. But I think it's really, really black hat design. It's quite like people are losing their money with those games so fast, because the RGB of these games, we have like 94%. That 6% all of your money you put in are lost. That's like if you keep on rolling, always 6% of your money will be lost. But with these crash games, it could be really easily like in a like 0% return percentage, because you're always losing.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing to do about skills.
Hello. What kind of testing process do you have at Veikkaus for the games? Because I think they cannot be that buggy games.
Yeah, really, really great question. We have a really, really hard and strong testing. Even though, yeah, sometimes some bugs do slip on the production also. I think when we start a project, maybe in 2 to 3 weeks, one tester will join the team with the weeklies, and we will point out that, okay, this is something you can now test, that it should be okay. We don't want them to be on from the beginning, because we know that, okay, this breaks so much, and they just type the tickets and we already know that it's broken. And then we go to the production phase. It's around 1 to 2 months. And after that, when the game is like production and polished, then the QA starts their like final testing, and it's usually a month, like 4 weeks.
Is it like all manual testing, or do you implement any automation for it?
Yeah, they do have like robots in a QA, like spinning stuff, like auto spinning, so they don't need to press the space. But the best way to test the game is actually to play as much as you can. Robots cannot replace like the real human experiencing this game, and our QA people usually they also tell that this game doesn't feel right here. They're not just finding bugs, but they are telling that there's a wrong feel and there's wrong sound or something that they don't feel right.
What goes into balancing these games?
Balancing? What do you mean?
Yeah, like the margins of, you said 6%, the customers lose 6% if they keep playing. What is the thinking behind that, and how do you balance how much the player wins and loses?
Yes, I got it. It's also from the regulator, so from the police board. Actually, the e-instant games, they have only like 70% return rate, so 30% of your money goes away. So they have a lot of less, and we cannot create a game that has too big return percentage or too small. So it's limited by law for each game type. And for example, in Germany, the casino games are 80% return percentage. So yeah, we don't really have to do that much because it's regulated.
So you mentioned that there's kind of 2 months development cycle. Can you tell a bit more about how are the game development cycles for the developers? Is it often 2 months, or is there variety? Or
there is variety, and we have been adding, like in the last year, we've had big changes on ways of working when it comes to like one game project, and we have like large sized projects. Each team might have like 1 a year, and it might be like from 5 to 6 months to build a game, and then after that they usually have a smaller, like maybe reskinning a game, or then we have a new like task force team that you need to, or we don't have to. We are in a e-instant games, but real game teams, they need to have this task force for some like few months, and they will be fixing these existing games and fixing some things that international markets might have. But yeah, it depends. And we start with kind of like white or gray boxing phase with the game, quite quickly setting up. On real games, as shown, that we have those kits, it's quite fast to get the experience that one did. Like, let's say they will, or someone will ask that we want a game about robots, and then artists will start having some concept art, and really quickly they get it running in a real game. And then we move to a production phase, and usually in production phase all the key features are already known, and we just like create them and test them, and after that a short polish.
Yeah, so I was wondering, you have a fixed like laws governing the return rates, or the like how much you generally lose. but what about like are there any laws or rules about like making the games too addictive? Like even though that you have fixed like returns and everything, but the way you present the game, you can make the player want to play more or maybe play less. So is there anything regarding that?
Yeah, really great question. That's something that during years has been like a live thing. In Finland, the police board will mainly regulate and check all the games, but also there is like people from HEL and those kind of like what is it again, the risky gaming organization. So there are representatives coming together and checking out those games whenever we present a new game, and we will get those comments. Of course, whenever we create a game, we want people to play it, and we want people to continue play it. As a like game developer and as game studio, it doesn't really limit us so much that we don't think that this is too much fun. Like it would confuse us too much. But in Veikkaus we do have a like big organizations of responsibility people, and I've been when I was a project manager, I actually run one of the projects where they check out the data, and if, for example, you start playing at Veikkaus site today, you've never played before, but we compare all the problematic players like who have big issues. We compare this data and we ask them that how do you feel about gaming? We have these surveys and we check those data together. So if the person has this kind of behavior from gaming and they actually say that it's not good for them and it's hurting their loved ones and so on, we will also mark you with this behavior as a risky player. And there will be some advertisement off from the website, so you will not see any like casino games in the front side, and you will not get emails and reminders and stuff like that. And of course the gaming limits in Finland, those are something that like Toto, you know, Toto horse racing stuff, those people are really angry about Finnish regulations, since they usually, those people have a lot of money and they want to play a lot. But there's like hard limit. I think it's also 2,000 a month or something like that, that you cannot lose more. So there are like a lot of other people taking care about those issues.
So hi, I'm personally interested in this because I'm studying it in my master's thesis. But do you use any AI in your game development, or is it regulated somehow?
Well, really great question. As a junior developer, I use a lot of AI. We use Gemini because of reasons. Maybe it was free for us or something, but it's when the AI is connected to the organization and there's like we have a contract with the Google that they don't take our data and so on, we are free to use it and give it our code and so on. But if I develop with Unity and use like Copilot or something, it's super easy because it knows everything. Like, okay, this is that and that. But with our code base, it doesn't know anything. Like usually it's, if I'm creating a schema or something with like image 1 is sprite 1 and symbol 1 and 2 and 3, then that's where I use AI. Like, okay, 10, that's happened. Like, or simple like, I don't want to memorize a lerp function. Create a lerp function for me.
There's a question in the chat personally to you. How did you end up in Veikkaus? Were you shooting applications everywhere with opening, or did you specifically want to work at Veikkaus?
No, there was like no dream of working at Veikkaus. I started my own startup company 2018, maybe Loru Games is still active, but it's more like a hobby nowadays. We create these like educational games for schools. They can use those, and kind of realized that there's no business case for educational games, so it was really hard. No money coming in, so I didn't have any money, and I started doing like game development teaching somewhere and this and that and getting money here and there and some burnout, and then I realized that I need to get a job, and then I just check out some jobs, and since I have been working as a project manager before, I applied as a project manager. I just went to open page and okay, Veikkaus, okay, they do games also, and project manager, okay, I apply for that.
So you first became a project manager outside games, and
Yes.
then moved in like stealthy, worked your way inside.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Take heed, people.
Yeah, be ready to cook coffee or something, like be a runner or anything in a company. Even if you are like in your mind you are the best developer ever, be ready to do something else in some company to just get yourself in and know people.
Cool. Perhaps a question from my side then. You seem to have like a really optimized pipeline for games production, which also seems to kind of nail you down to very specific type of games that you do on a optimized cycle. When does Veikkaus, what's the process if you want to create something new outside this box of like optimized tools? Like have all those been there all the time, or how have they been introduced into the?
Well, I'm that recent that I cannot tell from my experience, but this also what I've heard and so on, the stories. Veikkaus has actually used Unity for WebGL games back in the days, and yeah, the first ones I think were with come again. What was the old graphics interface in the web? How did I forget it? You guys, everyone knows it, like Flash, yeah, Flash, yeah. Flash games, those were, so yeah, it was not this like well built, but when the transformation sped up from the like slot machines in the store, you have a slot machine and you build games with C++ and so on. When those ones started to slowly die, Veikkaus realized that okay, the gaming is online now. They of course needed to speed up the process. And
Okay, but does this mean that we cannot expect anything new to come to the roster anytime soon, or because it's so optimized and the pressure to produce is so big?
well, like as mentioned, so many things in our tool set and optimized pipeline. I could theoretically create Angry Birds for the slot machine. There's no like limitation for that. I could get it running there.
All right.
So biggest limitation for that is that when we are focusing on the game client, that's best thing that we only focus on the game client, because I don't want to create backends.
Yeah.
The biggest limitation is that if we would like to create some new game, like for let's say the Crash game, that where there's a timing you need to, we would need to someone from the backend team to build a server for that and all these things. So it depends, but if it's an e-instant, I'm really happy that I'm now developing this, because it gives you quite open hands when it comes to client to show the present the win.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because like also the kind of creative leading side of things. If everything's always the same, like creative leadership is a kind of thing that comes to my mind. That's who makes the calls, and if you then present something new, we're going to change the back end. Is it like something that shocks everybody? Like, this is not the way we have worked for the past 10 years.
Yeah, of course. That's like everyone knows the big companies, they move quite slowly when it comes to anything like this. But I have been really happy to see like business people in in Veikkaus that are like, we want to have this like 3D game that can be run on VR where you pick apples and the apple can be like golden when it comes to your hand and then you win something. They want to push something like that. But of course the focus is on the mass and creating these games and even like skinning the old games to get more. That's the real money gaming business. A lot of new games, and the new games do not have a long lifetime. It's like internationally for slot game, it's less than 2 weeks, and then it dies.
Yeah.
It's not on the front page anymore, and no one plays it.
All right. Well, that's the reality, and
Yep.
you kind of also to manage expectations in this area of business. We perhaps have time for like 1 or 2 more questions if there are.
So for yourself, what do you like about game development? What are the sort of best things about game development jobs? And also, if there's something, what do you dislike about game development job?
Yeah, I'm starting from the dislike. That's harder one. I think those two are the same. Like when you face some problem, you start like you really get into flow of like solving that problem. It's the most annoying feeling, but at the same time, getting closer and closer to the solution, it's the best feeling. And whenever you get, usually like there's not, I don't think I've ever faced any problems that like unsolvable. Usually everything is solvable in the end. But it's so annoying that some things that when you're building it, currently I'm building a pyramid game. It's like a card deck from pyramid, and you can only open the bottom row, and whenever you open the bottom row, for example this, then these two will open. No, this will not open because this is blocking. So you need to calculate that this is blocking and this is blocking these two, and this open. And what I only get from the back end is that if you win or not. And the wins are on the top. If you get there, then you will win. And it's really, really interesting to build this algorithm, that how it works, and play it again and again. And when you like get it, it's working now, it's so great feeling, until it's not working. When the edge case, Yeah.
And last question. If not, then perhaps we continue the program. At this point, big round of applause for Miika.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for the great talk. And this concludes the official part of the night and the stream. We will continue here on site with the game demos and the open mic opportunity and networking as usual. One announcement from my side, just as a reminder, the Unreal Authorized Training Center courses here at DGN Game Center are about to start running. We have our first 2-hour session tomorrow for those who have signed up. And after that, within a week or 2, we will start the actual courses. So stay tuned and follow our channels for those if you're interested. That's also everybody online. But yeah, at this point, let's quit for now and stay tuned for the February meetup, the last Tuesday of the month as usual. See you then. Bye bye.